Hi guys, welcome back to TouchDesigner X Scope, a video series where I explore the capabilities of Scope using TouchDesigner visuals as an input. Today we're going to be continuing off our previous video where we used our blobby visual generator and this little face to create a fish out of this prompt right here. Now today I just wanted to do the exact same thing, but I wanted to explore two questions. The first one being, what happens when we use a different video model? And the second question being, what happens when we play around with the step list? We're going to be using Krea real-time video. And in the previous video, we were using long live. If you want to get a feel for what the difference is, I would highly suggest you check out the previous video. If you want, you can skip to the end to check out just the visual output. But yeah, let's begin. So before we get started, you'll see that we're just right now shooting our single blob. And what we're getting is a concept of a fish. It's sort of there, but it kind of disappears sometimes. It changes shape. So we can easily fix that by giving it a little bit more personality by adding that face. So I'm going to do that right now, just like so. And bam, look at that. And so immediately what I noticed when I was playing around with Krea real time is that the face, or I guess the output, is a lot higher quality and the shading and the animations are much smoother. It's doing the same thing where I can look around and it really rotates, which I really like. But something that I noticed right away was that even though this input has gone in and it has a face, we're getting a lot less fishiness immediately. So in our previous video in long live, when we added the face, I feel like the fishiness kind of popped out right away. And so that's really interesting because if I give myself a bit more room here, if I check out all of the other parameters, everything else has stayed the same. The step size, the cache bias, the height and width, the seed, and even the prompt has not changed compared to long live. So that immediately signals to me that for each model, you'll need to tweak things independently. There's no one size fits all for these models. And that's fun to me because that means, I don't know, I get to explore more. And so for me, immediately what I wanted to explore was the denoising step list. Now, if you've used Stream Diffusion TD, you know that there's also a step list there. And the difference here is that for scope, we go from, I think, 0 to 1,000, whereas TouchDesigner, we're going from 1 to 49, I think. But yeah, so let's just see what happens when we decrease our step list all the way down. And so when I decrease the step list for step 2 all the way to around 100, you'll notice that my video input and output are basically the same. And I find that really interesting because for Stream Diffusion TD, it's flipped. For scope, it seems like that the lower the step size, the less creativity the model has. Whereas in TouchDesigner, the higher the step size, the less creativity the output has. Now, yeah, I feel like there's a bit of a switch that, you know, if you're coming from Stream Diffusion, you'll need to get used to. But aside from that, it's still pretty straightforward. Now, what happens when I increase this to, like, let's say 800? And so immediately you'll see that if I increase this to 800, wow, I really do get that fish and the bubbles are popping out. And something that I really like is how animated the fish actually is. So if I open up my mouth and close it, I can look up, I can look here, I can look here. I think one of my favorite things is the eyebrows. So the eyebrows, like when my eyebrows are down, my fish actually looks really sad, which I think is really cute. And if I make it really angry, then it gets really angry. But yeah, aside from that, it's basically the same. And the visual output for Krea is much better, which makes sense because Krea is a much larger video model. It requires a bit more VRAM, so I had to upgrade to a better RunPod instance. But aside from that, you can really play around with these values and see what works out for you. Um, like if I increase both of them to be the same, you'll notice that now I don't even have a blob. Like my blob controls none of my fish anymore. Another thing that you can do is you can also add more steps if you would like, and really experiment with how many you want. Just a reminder though that the more step sizes that you have, the more steps that you have in your step list, the laggier your output will be. So right now I'm at 10. I think I was around like 11 before. Um, but yeah, really you can play around with it. You just have to make sure that it's going from descending order. And aside from that, you can just mess around with it. And if you ever feel like you've gone too far or messed up, you can always press this reset button and you'll go back to the beginning. As for right now, I haven't really been able to find too much of a use case of using extra step sizes. If anyone can tell me um, what their experience is, that would be great. I would love to learn from someone else. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to go through today. Thanks so much for watching. If you would like to download this project file and try it out for yourself, it'll be on my community hub profile. So feel free to download it, leave a comment, ask any questions, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.